But we haven't begun to notice the root, the very base of nutrition. We have not considered factors that needed to be considered, and they are very extremely important. Like, for instance, genetical traits of the individual. Why? Gene has to be considered. Gorillas doesn't eat polar bear food. Eagle doesn't eat the food of the quetzal. So, in healing or nourishing someone, we have to go again to the world of alkalinity. The world of alkalinity is going to feed whether you're white, whether you're black, whether you're Chinese, whether you're Eskimo. The world of alkalinity complements everybody. Where the breakdown is seen is that the diet of different individuals. The diet. Oh yeah? Well, I think the diet is key. So if you're going to heal someone, or you're going to nourish someone, you have to find a diet that is consistent with that person.
Does it have to do anything with the blood? Because we also hear that too. You have to have a certain type of blood so you can eat meat. If you don't have this kind of blood, you can't eat meat. Is that what you're doing?
Well, the blood is part of the representation of the structure of the DNA. The DNA is at the core of it. The blood is part of it because it's going to express what the DNA message is. Like, for instance, as a black man, I cannot eat the amount of fat that an Eskimo eats, right?
Right.
I would clog my arteries. Oh, that Eskimo eats a lot of fat. Why? Because he needs it. He lives in the cold.
Okay.
Me, I live naked in the jungle. I don't need that. There's a difference. We have to begin to understand that there are differences in all of us on this planet. Not that the Eskimo is better than the Bedouin, or the black man is better than the Arab. That doesn't exist in nature. What exists in nature is different. There are differences. Not better and worse, good and bad. So as we talk about food and nutrition, we have to think about what? Genetics. Because it will be applied to the food that that individual is going to consume. Like I asked the question to the Supreme Court of New York. We, the black people of the world, we have been severed from the umbilical cord of Africa. We know that. Well, we don't have any problem with it. But in that breaking, there were many things that we needed to have or know about ourselves. I've been recording information for the last 60 years of my life. And I have yet to hear a professor, a scholar, or a sage to even mention the importance of the food that is consistent with the black race. They have never talked about it. So everything that we black people have been doing is all superficial. It is until our diet changed that our thinking would change. As for right now, there are many of us who have considered it and are doing it. I'll make enough effort at least, because we see the value of it. Like an Eskimo, he never deviated from his fish diet. He eats pieces of whales and stuff, but that is his food. That is not an African food. But we are confounded. And we have been made so sick that when we look at it, we get scared. Something goes through our skull. I can't do that. Or no stuff. Well, I'll tell you this. I was one that heard information in Mexico about black people. I never heard it from the scholars in America because there aren't any books that have written anything on the subject. But how this Mexican knew, I don't know, but he did. And because of what he did, brought me to this place that I am now, the person I am, and the state of health I am. He made me aware of something that there aren't any black scholars, white scholars, Chinese, Arab, Eskimo. This Mexican, Alfredo Cortez, the baddest of the baddest. He showed me the value of understanding your own genetical predisposition. Nobody else did that but him. And because he opened that window, everything has cleared up for me. All of us have a different diet. Nothing wrong with that. It's just that we have a different diet. And that we have to begin to consider it because never in the history of humanity has there been such a high incidence of disease. I mean, when you die today, you don't die of old age. You die of a disease. In fact, it has become so commonplace that what did he die of? From. Not that he died in his sleep at 110 or 200. What did he die from? And it's always a biological interference. We have to change. We have to begin to change our MO. We have to change our way of thinking. But all that comes again with a diet.